Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. Yep, go ahead. Hi, friends. Oh, so odd. So crazy. Hi, guys.
Yo, 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 yo. Good afternoon. Greetings and salutations, everybody. We are just getting some things modified here. We're all set up. Terry had to tell a neighbor friend that his kids can't play since his kids are at school.
He's in big trouble.
No, they're not. It's spring break. It's spring break, but the kids are going.
Spring break.
Yeah, the kids they're out and about, so the neighbor kid will have to wait till later to play with them. You know,
it's tough sometimes. You know, spring break, you just want to play. Fabulous. So, welcome to Coffee Talk, guys.
Welcome to Coffee Talk.
Welcome.
Welcome. So we are going to be doing introductions here shortly, just so you know. That's Terry Wagner there, and then Megan and Todd Ferris. We should have changed our name from Ferris Property Group.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, it is embarrassing. But we're here doing Coffee Talk because what we want to do is we want to just talk about everything real estate related and kind of give you our thoughts about the market and what's going on, and give you some tips and tricks that you might want to be using in your business right now, some takeaways, all that fun stuff. Of course, we also want to hear from you guys and make sure that you have your opportunities to ask us any questions that you have. This is a webinar format, which means that unfortunately we have full control. And it's all about us and our slides, which the question is, do you have the slides up for them right now?
I am going to give you these slides. It's going to be so
right
exciting.
So as she gets that up and going, just to make sure that you guys can hear us.
Whoa, hold on.
There's your text bubble on our little text thread.
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
We're going to want to change that screen.
Look at you guys. Look at you. So now everyone knows I was on and I was like, are you guys coming? Are you on? I'm on. It's just waiting to begin. And now you guys are completely gone. Now we can't even see your faces. It's just me.
Decided to quit. We're just done. It's Friday. We're just gonna take off. And people are kind of coming in here too. So as you guys get in, you can just experience the debacle that is me and technology.
Well, Megan figures out, which by the way, out of the three of us, not to throw Megan under the bus here, but I think you're the least tech savvy.
Oh, yeah, for
we
sure.
put you in charge of this. So
let's see what happens.
But hey, so as she's figuring that out, real quick, just wanted to ask you guys a question, make sure that you guys can hear us. So in the questions section, this is how you can communicate to us, is you can throw questions, comments, chats, all that fun stuff. But now it's going to switch back.
Why does it do that?
Yeah, because you're on two screens.
Well, ew, I blame my husband for that completely.
Would you like me to unplug your screen?
No, I'll just do something else.
So as she figures it out, let me ask you guys a question. Spring break. Terry's on spring break right now. We head to spring break technically in 1.5 weeks. No, just a little over a week. So let me ask you this. What's the furthest that you've ever traveled? I want to know the furthest that you've ever traveled. It doesn't have to be for spring break. This can be any time in your life. But what's the furthest that you've ever traveled? And share that share it with us. We won't call you out or anything. Maybe we will if you have some really fun comments.
No, we won't call you out. You are safe to be here we'll call you out. It's fine. This is just a fun little coffee talk here on Friday afternoon amongst real estate industry friends talking about what's going on in the world of real estate. So yeah.
Boom.
Oh, we have questions.
All right, Terry.
Yep.
Well,
I can't see the question stuff, so it'll be you guys will have to report back on what people are saying.
This is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna get rid of the second screen because we plugged Megan's into mine and it's a debacle. So
my computer does not like Todd's monitor, so they're having an argument right now.
All right. Do you want to use the PDFs or do you want to use something different?
I got it. I got this. Now I'm on it.
All right, Graham Cayman.
I want to go there.
Oh, yeah, Graham Cayman's probably it for me too.
Yeah. Ooh, I've never been there. I want to go. Is anybody going on a spring break trip soon that we need to know about?
That's a good question. That's a fun question.
Terry, what's the furthest that you've ever been in the world?
I don't know I don't know where all the Caribbean islands are located. If they're far, this is gonna maybe sound stupid, but if they're farther away than San Francisco or not, or actually Seattle, maybe Seattle. I think the Grand Cayman's closer to us in Indy than Seattle would be, right?
I'm just gonna be really honest. I have no idea where the Grand Cayman the islands
I
are.
don't know. It might be pretty close though, because they're just like
Caribbean.
Florida and then down a little, and Seattle's pretty far.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So if you've done any traveling ever, go ahead.
What about you guys?
Where you've traveled. Hopefully you can see our slides now too. So actually, if you want to just comment about that and let us know, can you see our slides? It should see a big coffee talk.
Yes.
And hopefully, if you see that, just say coffee talk.
Yeah, and thank you guys for being here. We love our Friday stuff. We do this about once a month where we just hop on, and Terry's going to tell us about what we're doing. But it's fun to get on here with like-minded real estate professionals and just talk about what we're seeing and what we're doing, and to just kind of get connected, which is fun.
Yeah.
You know, I'm eyeballing it, gang, and it looks like Seattle's probably slightly farther than the Cayman Islands.
Nice.
Not a lot, but slightly from Indianapolis.
It's a longer drive to the Cayman Islands than it is to Seattle, though.
It's a tougher one, tougher road trip.
All right, so we've heard from you. You can see the screen. We've got some people that are traveling about the world.
Yay.
If you've never been outside the country, feel free to post about that, because we are going to do a GoFundMe page for you today, and we're going to get you the funds to get outside the country and go somewhere fun.
Canada.
Canada is just a wonderful trip. You're going to love it. So let's get into it, and just so we're not taking too much of your day, let's get right into what the goal is for today. Terry, you want to tell them all about it?
Yeah, so here's what we're going to go through. We're going to talk about the local market, which is a breeze right now, piece of cake. We'll talk all about that. We're talking about trends that we're seeing in the marketplace, and we'll get your 2 cents too on what you're seeing as well if you want to contribute. We're going to share with you just some hacks and just insights and tips and things that each of us is using in our business right now to grow and advance, and what we're doing with those things. We're going to talk briefly just about FPG, just so you have an idea of what our brokerage is all about, some of the fun things that we have going in our brokerage, and then a casual Q&A. So if you are overdressed for the Q&A session, you'll probably want to put some sweatpants on, or a hoodie. Just get casual and comfy for that section. I do appreciate the fact that the first 4 of these are a little bit more formal, we'll kind of keep that in mind. But then we'll really let our hair down and relax during the Q&A. It'll be fun.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Housekeeping before we get started. Just grab a drink, anything you want. It is Friday at 12, whatever. So I feel like you can drink whatever you want. You can drink. You can go straight to the hard stuff or some nice tea, whatever makes you happy.
No judgment. No judgment.
No judgment.
Does anybody ever mix anything with tea? Like, I feel like everybody has some kind of drink that has some kind of mix, but I don't know if I've ever heard of an adult tea.
Question.
Oh, like alcohol?
Yeah,
you could do like you could do like vodka and tea. And there's like, they have those like hard, like the hard lemonade people also do like a hard iced tea kind of stuff. So
I thought maybe tea is so awful that probably there's so many good things you can put in coffee, but it seems like maybe just because tea.
Megan's a tea hater.
Yeah, you are a tea hater. I'm drinking a hot. What are you guys drinking today? I'm drinking a hot tea in a big mug.
Are you?
We've got a couple suggestions. Hot toddy is one. Whiskey and tea, another one.
I like whiskey, so maybe it'd make it better.
A little. Oh, I've heard about the honey in there too. Okay. Actually, I think when you're sick, you're supposed to drink whiskey, tea, and honey. I think that's the goal, right?
Oh, now I might do that. That would be fun.
That's one of our tips for later.
There you go. Awesome. All right, so grab your drink, whatever it is, this Friday afternoon. And then as we go through here, feel free in that question section just to hit us with any thoughts you have, any information, ideas, tips, what you're doing to share with everybody, since this is an open forum amongst agents and people in real estate or not in real estate, but that just want to talk about it. And then if you need anything after, just number one, we're going to have this recorded and we'll shoot it your way with the slides. And then if you just have any questions or thoughts or want to continue the conversation, reach out to us anytime. But those slides will come your way and the recording. So
boom. Hey, real quickly, who we are. So as I think I introduced earlier, the guy that you see, Terry Wagner, he's well, I don't know if you see him, just our slide, if you can see him too. But we got Terry Wagner, Megan Ferris, myself, Todd Ferris. We have been in real estate collectively for a long, long time, 20 plus years of experience in real estate. But the different iterations of Ferris Property Group started about 13 years ago and have grown to what it is now, which is Ferris Property Group. We are basically the three leaders of Ferris Property Group. We are the partners, one of Central Indiana's top real estate brokerages and teams. But we also run a podcast called the Boom Real Estate Podcast. That is just a wealth of knowledge. These are little like 20 to 30 minute episodes. Typically about 75% of that is us just messing around, and 25% with actual knowledge, if you can't get that same tone out of what we're doing today. And then we also have gone from that, the podcast speaking, and now we speak kind of pre-COVID, would speak across country. Now we do it virtually, but we speak about real estate topics. And one of the big things that you will always hear from us is that we're very much lifestyle real estate. That's important to us. And what that means is that we want everybody to be successful in real estate, but we don't want to do it at the expense of your lifestyle. You want to be able to enjoy your lifestyle while you enjoy your real estate career. And so that's also why we do things like this, because we're going to give you some tips and tricks. We're never afraid to share anything we have. Just simply because we are kind of like real estate karma believers. If we put out good, it's going to come back to us. And so we want to share with you any of our tricks, any of our tips that we've got going on, and please share right back with us if you don't mind. And let's all kind of raise our ships together as the tide goes, if that makes any sense. But anyways, Todd, Terry, and Megan, that's who we is.
Woo!
Are you guys, like, your video's totally gone? Did you know that? Did you know that we can't see your faces anymore? There you are.
We were just giving you a break for a second, just thought maybe your eyes needed a minute to, look at slides and not us.
All right, that was the short break. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on in the market right now and kind of break down some of these stats and just talk through them and get our 2 cents. Do you have a slide with the stats, Megan, or no?
Nope.
Okay, so cool. So just to kind of go back through all of the info, listings are up year over year right now. So that's actually, I'm sorry, I meant sales. Sales are up right now. Units sold in the last month. So we're looking at February 2021 and comparing that to February 2020. Units sold is up, which is crazy because that means we're actually selling more homes right now than we were last year, but everybody knows how difficult the market is right now. So the overall units sold, it's up 5.9% compared to this time last year. So up about 6%, which is great. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the coming months, because this is about a year ago that we started our quarantine and shut down. And as you guys know, the activity slowed for a couple of months there. So that's interesting. The median sold price is $220. That's up 17% compared to a year ago. So you guys are experiencing this market where prices are crazy because we have so many offers and all that. We'll talk about that in just a second. But obviously the stats are bearing that out because the numbers are up 17%, or the median sold price is. Average days on market right now is 33 days on market. And I tell you what, I don't really believe that number. I don't believe it's right. I think it's 33 hours on market is about the only thing. but it really is 33. So there's some listings that are just sitting out there right now, I guess, just some crazy people, but that because generally, I think the real average days on market is 3, and that's because everyone says we're going to leave this listing open for 3 days and submit your best offers, right? So that's what the days on market are right now. And then inventory is down 57% compared to this time last year. So again, just the crush of low inventory. So we are experiencing what you are experiencing in our day-to-day business. And I will say too, and I don't remember if Todd said this, we run the brokerage, yes, and we do the podcast, yes, but we still spend most of our time working with buyers and sellers. We're still active in sales, all that good stuff. So we're experiencing the same thing as you. I lost an offer today because we didn't go high enough. We didn't have the appraisal guarantee and some of that stuff too. So we're seeing a lot of that. I sold a listing a couple of weeks ago that had 13 offers. There's only one that was below list price, which is like, what is that person thinking, by the way? But it's the chaos and the madness of the marketplace right now. So same for you, Ferris, as I'm assuming as well.
It is the same, except for the fact that we just had an offer accepted. Boom.
Oh, boom. In my face. I did offer the listing agent. I said that the buyer's agent will supply a free pizza to the listing agent, and you can't put a price tag on that. Well, you really can. It's like $15, but it did not work. He was amused, though. He thought it was fun.
That's awesome. That's really funny. Oh, the chaos that is the most right now.
It is chaos. I will say the only little caveat to that is that maybe we've got a little moment right now, like, because spring break is going to be the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So I think like some of the feedback we're getting even in our own brokerage and other people is like, hey, we had a listing and we only got 5 offers on it, or we only got 2 offers, which sounds funny to say that, but like it's true. If you're like, dude, we're only competing against 2 or 3 offers, we got a real shot. So maybe like there's going to be a little quick window for those of you that are going to be around here over spring break.
It's your opportunity to strike.
Yes, I like that. It's true. The one that we won, I mean, we got there quick and there wasn't multiple offers yet. So who knows? Wildness.
Really? So you didn't really win in like a competing situation. You just hustled in there and you wrote a short time crunch deadline. And
I didn't do super short because I walk on eggshells. I want to make the listing agents happy too. And you never want to be the guy that's pushing them, super hard, but also it was fairly tight. But I mean, sometimes you just get lucky. It was a cash offer.
Let's be honest, it was
cash. We went ahead and ran a little over list price anyway, just to seal the deal. So it was a good one. Now, just the night before, we lost one where we had offered $25,000 over and an appraisal, and all the things we were going to talk about in a minute, and we lost it. So you never know these days. It's just an event. So
I've been telling my buyers and then other friends and stuff. I'm like, when you write an offer with a buyer, it's kind of like a scratch off lottery ticket where you're like, there's kind of a chance we're going to win, but I'm not going to be surprised if we don't win. No matter what offer you write, like, it's like, let me just scratch and see,
I know. It's really hard to give advice other than, go big, go home, do what you're not going to regret, and hope the chips fall on our side to some extent. But
right.
So, well, let's dive into some of these trends and the insights that what we're seeing, and some things that we can throw in there. And then this is one of those things. If you guys have some thoughts on what you're seeing, we'd love to hear them. So, the one trend that I have been seeing a lot that you guys have probably been seeing if you're listing homes. So Todd and I have split our business. He's the listing agent and I'm a buyer's agent. And so I'm seeing a lot on the buy side that listing agents are doing a great job putting homes on the market and communicating a lot in the agent to agent remarks with, hey, here's the strategy is we're going to go on the market this day and give everybody 48 hours or whatever. And here's the deadline time. And so that's definitely a trend that we're seeing a lot locally, which is kind of just ripping that, giving a little less pressure to have to get out there within like an hour. It gives buyers a little bit more time and agents to get out to the house, gives that seller a lot more options, because your job as a listing agent is obviously your responsibility is to those buyers. I mean, sellers, not to the buyers, to the sellers, and making sure they do get the best offer and the best situation for them. So it's allowing that, but it's also helping the buyers too, which is nice, but it's creating these multiple offer situations for sure. So really, I wanted to talk about that trend, and then the insight that does mean that there are buyers that are getting out there. So the time is not squeaking out other buyers, so you might have more competition. So it just ups the ante on how clean your offer should be, and how literally every part of that purchase agreement as you're going through it is, how can I make this a little better? And buyers can only do what they can do and what they're comfortable with, but being able to talk them through, here's something we could do here. The one that we lost a couple of days ago, it was, though our pricing was there and it was a really clean offer, these other buyers that won had offered to pay the taxes for the seller for the previous year. So, just adding up what would that be? And it was quite a bit of money, but it was enough to make their offer better and a little different, which is awesome. So I think thinking through all of that, like an insight is, yeah, your offer is clean, but do something that maybe would even be past the escalation clause, the as-is addendum, the appraisal addendum, and do one other thing maybe that could push you over the edge, which is kind of fun to strategically think through.
Yeah, and go ahead, Terry.
Well, I was just curious, Megan, when you're coaching your buyers right now and like walking through a consultation with them or just in the conversations you're having, are you encouraging them to look a certain amount below the top end of the range they can afford? So if let's say they're pre-approved up to 300, are you telling them we probably should be looking at 275 to leave room to go higher? Are you doing that pretty actively right now or not so much?
I am. And I think setting those expectations, that's a really good point. Setting those expectations when we're setting up search, and then every week I try to go through all of the active buyers and see where they are and what their search is set at and touching base. And that's one of the conversations is let's look about 25,000 under, unless a home's been on the market for a long time, but in just kind of giving them that information of, okay, here is a home we probably are not going to be able to do anything other than over list price, and here are some home situations where maybe we are, but then what are you comfortable with as far as condition and all of that without on the market. But yeah, I am. Are you doing that?
Starting to more now, yeah. And some of my buyers are like understanding that pretty quick too. And they're like, if this is our max, we really have no shot. We need to be looking below our max, So yeah, for sure.
So I'll give you another trend that I think you should be well aware of is that we are going to be seeing more and more going to new construction. You're going to see new construction taking full advantage of this market. You're going to see them buying up properties, buying up land, and starting to build. We've already seen builders start to build just spec homes. They're not even selling the ability for you to come in and customize and build your own house. They're just going to build. And then once they feel like they're under a good spot and they know what they want to do and where they're going to get their most return, then they'll turn around and they'll sell it to a seller or to a buyer, and they will hopefully, in their mind, they're looking for multiple offers too. But what I think you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of buyers get burnt out by this whole like going to offer on homes and just losing out. And you're going to see them start to say, you know what, I'm just going to go build a home and get under contract. I'll overpay, that's fine, but at least I know that I'm going to get the home. So I think big kind of takeaway for our agents out there would just simply be this: you've got to build your relationships with your builders. If you haven't yet, you need to do it. This is called Coffee Talk. I would jump off this thing as soon as we're done, and I'd go buy some coffee and go stop at your builders and just bring them coffee and just introduce yourself if you haven't done so. Start building relationships, because they're going to have opportunities for the people that they like, and that's going to be people that randomly come in and say, I'd like to build a house, but I need to sell my house, and then they're going to refer them to agents. If you have the right builder, you might be able to pick up some listings out of it, especially when they're doing all these spec homes. So I'd say one of the big trends that you're going to see is just simply building is going to continue to rise as a kind of result of the low inventory that we have, and the builders realizing that they can take advantage of it. So build those builder relationships, and make sure that you're telling every one of your buyers, here's another opportunity. Is you could look at new construction, but you better make sure that you're the one introducing them so you can get the commissions.
Yeah, I do. I love that. I love that point, dear.
Thank you, dear.
That's a really good point. And I do think those relationships with builder reps and those consultants, they're the ones that know the inventory, the spec homes that are going to come on or the lots that are going to come available before we see it online. Or if you're going to their websites individually, they'll put you on the email list, they'll text you, they'll call you if you build relationships with them, and then you have another tool in your pocket. And the other thing about what we've noticed some on the building end, they can be our partners. It's so good for our buyers to be able to have that as a tool in our tool belt. But some of the builders, the production builders in the area, their contracts are changing a little bit. So that's something for all of us to know, to be able to advise our clients that the earnest money rules are a little tighter on whether they get it back or not, that deposit, the appraisal, if there's an appraisal difference, some of them are rewriting contracts to say that the buyers are responsible. So knowing that those contracts aren't the same as maybe they were a year ago is really important for us to be able to protect our buyers, and the builders can do that right now. It's just something they can do because of the supply and demand.
Right.
So, nothing wrong with it, but that's what's going on to make sure that we can let them know. And I have noticed with the spec homes, you are able to get them for list price, which is great. Even though the list price is high, you're not like 20,000 over. So there you go. A little more of a sure.
Nice, that's good stuff. The trend that I am noticing that is just kind of an interesting thing is the decline, probably on the way to the end of the buyer love letter, where buyers are trying to get a home by tugging on the heartstrings. IAR, if you didn't see the email they sent out, I think about a week ago, maybe a little bit more than a week ago, go back through and look at that. It's really interesting because obviously the buyer love letter opens up potential fair housing violations depending on the content of that letter. And it's something that I didn't consider that for a long time about the implications of fair housing in the buyer love letter until a little bit more recently, a few months back. So I think, and then it's interesting now too, because when you do have a listing, you get so many offers, you would think there would be a lot of letters in those as well, because everybody knows that as a tactic on the buy side. But I've noticed, I'll be curious, Todd, if you've seen the same thing since you do the listings with your team. I've noticed that there's just been way fewer letters coming in. So I think maybe agents aren't using that tool as much to be a little bit, more careful around some fair housing issues. I just thought that was interesting to see. I do think we're probably 6 to 12 months away from MIBOR or IAR just saying no more buyer love letters, which will kind of be a relief, I think, because it'll even the playing field with some of that stuff, and we won't have to worry about the fair housing violations. But I've just noticed that that being utilized a lot less in recent months. How about you guys?
Yeah, we're not seeing quite as much as we have. I still see plenty of them, so I don't think they're gone yet. I agree with you. I think that at some point, MIBOR or IAR will say we're not going to use them in Indiana anymore. I think at some point you'll see like all offers just go to an online system where you have to send a pre-approval letter, and that way people aren't even seeing people's names. It's just the actual terms of the deal, and that's it. And so it's really, really just apples to apples at that point. There's no opportunity, or not opportunity, but no potential issues with fair housing. So I think that's good. So what?
I have to check on. Have you guys ever had clients, and I love this, but I'll send an offer to them, or they'll look up a house, and you can see on either a purchase agreement, or if you just look up tax records on the house who owns it, and they'll be like, I Facebook stalked them and Googled them, and I know all this stuff about them. So that is a thing. Where once, if it had no name, there would be none of that. So it'd be more of a transaction.
Yeah, I've had sellers that have Facebook stalked buyers, and or if they got multiple offers, they'll research them all online. They're like, I just didn't like the look of that person or something like that.
Like,
and that is where we get into some of that questionable stuff. So,
you've had, Todd, you've also had on a listing of yours, you've had a well-known buyer make an offer, and then they didn't use their name, right? But then you later realized who it was, or it was something like that, right?
Yeah, we've had a couple of those issues. I've had one, just to kind of put it out there. I had one that was a Colts player, and he wanted to rent a house, and I had the listing, and the Colts player reached out to me, and the guy was like, "No, I don't want to deal with that guy. Like, I know professional athletes, and I don't want to deal with that at all." And that's different than what we were talking about. But yeah, we've seen that. We've seen different things come from that, and I think that's a good transition that we will see, is that we will get away from any kind of gray area, and it's just going to be simply, what are the terms of the deal, and if it works, that works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's how we move forward. So I think, and then it'll be on the agents to make those, they're going to be the ones conveying the offers, but they're also going to be the ones with personality that are behind it. And so instead of it being the clients worried about the other clients, it's going to be the agents worried about the agents. And you're going to have to make sure you maintain a good reputation, which is, again, why we go back to real estate karma. Treat all your other agents with professionalism, make it fun, just simply because then when they're excited, when they see an offer from you, it may not net them as much, but they're going to go back to their client and be like, hey, these people are great to work with. You're going to love it. And we're much more to the closing table. So
you're telling me that my pizza has a shot in the future to start getting me some wins, right?
Yeah,
Don't stop.
I think it's in there. Let's go. Speaking of tips, like offering pizza, the problem is you offered a Totino pizza. That's you got to step it up to DiGiorno.
Do what?
I'm running a
DiGiorno.
business here.
What's that?
I'm running a business here. I can't spring for a full Papa John's or something. You know what I mean?
You gotta know your ROI on your pizza bribes. That's
That's awesome.
Speaking of bribes, let's talk about tips. So let's go. So we've already given you some tips that are associated with trends. But you know what? Let's just continue to give more tips to help you through this real estate market. And so let's go Terry first,
Ooh, Terry
then Megan, then I'll wrap it up.
So the thing that this is like kind of more of a high level tip, and it's more at the strategy level, is I think that it is very smart for you to add more marketing channels to your business than what you've ever had before. So more sources of business. In a market like this, it's going to be really, really tough to hit your goals. And so you're going to need more leads than what you would have in the past, because again, like we all are sitting around with a list of buyers and we can't get them in homes. Where if you have a more balanced market, you have a buyer, you can find them a home, go through the process. Now we have that pent up demand. And so I think you're going to need more people in your marketing funnel, in your pipeline, than what you've had to have historically. And so the way to do that is just to market a lot more broadly. So if you've always just been a sphere and an open house person, maybe it's time to start thinking about farming, or maybe it's time to start thinking about cold calling, or maybe it's time to start thinking about networking groups or things like that. So thinking through what sources of business you have in your business right now, and maybe adding something. So maybe you want to do things like, so some things that are working, I think right now, some marketing channels, YouTube ads for listings. If you throw $50 on a listing video that you've made, you're going to end up with probably 2,000 to 4,000 views on it on YouTube, which looks amazing, and your seller's happy, and you'll get probably 15,000 impressions or something just for $50. So that's a good move just to build your brand. Keep sending like just listed, just sold. I know that sometimes agents in the past will kind of cherry pick when they send those and when they don't. I think if you categorically just keep sending those are great touches and more brand building for you too. And I would also suggest, if you do send those pieces around a listing that you may have, call through the neighborhood about that listing too, and just see if you can uncover more listings that way with some circle dialing. But the big picture takeaway, the big tip here is just, what are your current sources of business? And most likely you need to market a little bit more broadly to meet your goals this year than what you've had to do in the past.
I love that.
Yep.
I love that. We had been talking this month in our brokerage trainings. We have a theme every month, and we were talking about, how do you find inventory in this crazy market, and how do you then win the offers when you get there? So we've done some trainings on that, but where to find the inventory. I think right now, you're doing more marketing to get more buyers and listings, and clients, but also just really opening up into networking amongst agents, and doing different, more creative things like farming and sending letters to find more inventory for your buyers, working with the new build neighborhoods to open up more doors. Also just getting on social media. Like, I know that the different communities have different real estate sites, like Zionsville Real Estate and Westfield Real Estate and Whiteland Real Estate, and hopping on there to see, are there people getting ready to list homes, and can you build relationships with agents to see what they have coming on the market? But just finding ways to find more inventory, Zillow for sale by owner, stuff like that. And I think it's just taking one more step as an agent, and not just hoping that your clients find listings on the MLS, which is important, and we want them to do that and be searching, but that we are actively finding homes for people that maybe weren't there in their search right then, would be really good. And the only other tip that I have to throw in there, because I think it's so important for our sanity, is that knowing we're going into the spring, I really do think there will be more inventory just coming on. I know personally we have more listings, and in our brokerage, a lot of people have listings coming on. So I do think in April, we will hopefully have enough to just take a little bit of the edge off, where some more inventory is going to come onto the market. But leave space in your schedule for the chaos that is coming. We already have it, and it's only March. So just leave some times throughout your week where you will have time to write offers, or to fit last minute showings in, or to have that buyer or seller consultation. But just try not to say yes to meetings that aren't really important to you in the spring. try to clear your schedule so that you're going to be able to be present to your business and then not be stressed out in your personal life. So
yeah.
boom.
All right, I'm going to finish it up with another tip for you. This is one that I've seen from some savvy agents. I like it a lot. It's a lot easier when you have a buyer that's putting like 10, 20% down on a listing or on a purchase. But in these multiple offer situations, as I'm sure you guys have seen, one of the trends is to offer guaranteed money towards a low appraisal. Problem is that some agents or some buyers are like, well, I'm putting all my money towards a down payment. I don't have any extra money to offer towards a low appraisal. So the savvy agents are saying, why don't we just roll your down payment down? So instead of putting 20% down on a home, we're going to put 10% down. Then we can guarantee more towards a low appraisal. And if the appraisal comes in and it's not low, then we just take that money, you put it back in your down payment, and you get back up to 20%, which obviously a seller's not going to care about because it's going up. Yeah. So it's a really savvy move that I've seen agents use. I like it a lot. And I would just say, again, going back to those that can't do that just because they don't have the money, FHA buyers, VA buyers that are putting lower amounts down, the big tip there is they need to save their money and get into a conventional loan. And if you're seeing multiple offers like I see immediately when I see, and I hate to say it, but immediately when I see an FHA appraisal or a offer versus a conventional or insured conventional, I'm immediately going that way. And so I think that's just something that we have to be really honest with our buyers and let them know, like it's typically like a conventional loan. Most lenders are offering a minimum of 5%, which means you only need a 1.5 more to get into conventional, and some lenders offer 3%. So if it's a credit issue, that's different. But I like that. And by the way, as we wrap up our tips section, if you guys have any tips that you'd like to share, feel free to put those in there. And we're coming up on some Q&A too. So if you guys have any Q&A, some questions, we will provide the answers. Maybe we'll provide the questions, mix it up. But if you have any questions, any tips, any trends that you would like to share, feel free to throw it in the question area and then we can share those around.
Yeah.
So it is time now, right? It is time for us to get into our casual Q&A. So I invite you to take off your shoes if you had your shoes on. You know, let's just relax into this a little bit. Q&A time. So if you do have questions, put them in the questions box, and we're happy to answer those. I can't see the questions box, which means that you guys will have to share what the questions are, and we'll go from there.
You got it. So Rebecca asked, what do we believe there is a bubble coming? I think that you can see that the inflation that we are seeing because of the low inventory is going to cause a bubble. But I don't think the issue that I think a lot of us run into is just simply we're so, what's that called? Shell shocked. We're so bitten. There's a term for it.
Bitten, twice shy.
Something. Yeah, I don't think that's it. That's a good song though.
You have PTSD from 2008. Right?
Yes.
We're so injured from that.
We're all like, if there's a bubble, there's only one type of bubble, and that's the one that will just destroy the world. I don't think we're going to see that. I think that you're going to see people, I think we're going to see a balloon, and then I think somebody's going to come in with a needle, and instead of popping it in the middle, they're going to go to like the blow-in area, which is the technical term, and they're going to start squeezing some air out that way. So it's going to be like that one kid in high school that would take the balloon and just pull like the ends to make little noises. But
it's going to be like when you blow a hubba bubba bubble and then eventually it just kind of sags, and
it's naturally a porous thing. So
Megan, what's your bubble analogy? You have to do a bubble metaphor. What's yours?
I'm having a hard time. I'm thinking more like, when you sleep on an air mattress and like you start the night and it's so full and awesome, and you wake up at like 3 a.m. and you're like halfway on the floor and it's just like slowly.
There's metaphors. That's a lot of metaphors. Good job to us on all the metaphors.
A lot of metaphors. But yeah, I do think that you're going to see this. I think we'll stay strong like this through the summer. And then I think once we get past the first day of school, then you're going to start to see it slow down and stabilize, frankly. And that's not a bad thing. I think a stable market's a good thing. It gives buyers better opportunities. And I think that sellers aren't going to be as afraid to sell because there's going to be opportunities for them as well. And they don't have to worry about selling and then ending up nowhere. So I do think that it'll just start to stabilize, which is good.
That is good. And to our next question from John that asked, what do you do when your sellers are not ready to list because they don't know where they're going? Which I feel like is a huge question right now. And part of the reason we don't have any inventory is because sellers are nervous they're not going to be able to find the next place. Personally, Todd and I are talking to sellers a lot about just knowing that you are in the driver's seat. When you put your house on the market, in theory, you will be in the driver's seat if you do things right, whereas where you can push out closing, farther to 60 days, so you have more time to find a house. You can use something called a seller's contingency, which is a form that allows the seller to have X amount of days to find their next home, or they do not have to sell their current home, which is an option. There are bridge loans. They might have enough equity to do a home equity line, or they might not have to sell to buy. So it's really just talking through all of the options like an advisor, and letting sellers know, hey, there's plenty of options, and you don't have to sell your house if you don't want to sell your house until you're under contract. So lots of ways to work on it with them, and I think just problem solve to make people more comfortable and make sure that we can figure that out, because buying with a first right now is just not really a great option. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's really not a great option right now.
Yeah, I think that's one thing to really stress to your sellers, is that they need to talk to their buyers or their lenders or their banks, because a lot of these banks are like, yeah, we know you can sell your house, so you go buy your next house. It's fine. And they'll find creative ways to make it happen for them. But the best thing we could do as a group, being MyBor, the best thing that we could do, which we just need all 8,000 agents to jump on this call and agree that they'll do it. But the best thing we could do is everybody list their homes, because, well, not like our personal homes. You can.
We might have to.
But we all have like a handful of sellers that are willing to sell their home if they find their next home, but they're not willing to list their home until they find their next home. But what would happen if we all listed those homes with contingencies? This is contingent on us finding our next home, and then all of a sudden you just flooded the market with this hidden inventory. That would get us going the right way and really quickly. I pitched that to MyBor. I wanted a new listing. A new listing status. They shot me down.
Oh, that's interesting. A new listing status would be a cool idea. That's a good idea. And they said no.
They said no.
See, we're trying to solve the problem here. Trying to solve the problem.
Yeah, we're trying, people.
Good.
So,
but maybe though, we're seeing, when we talk about the trends we saw, you're seeing maybe fewer letters. You're seeing more people with the window. Maybe we'll start to see more subject to seller finding suitable housing with listings. If we can spread the word and get our people to do that more often, then maybe that will at least be a trend, in the coming months. That would be great.
So we need everybody. This is like a phone chain, or what's those? Is it called a phone chain?
Phone tree.
Phone tree. So once we're done here, I want you to jump on and just start calling your real estate agents that you know.
Yeah.
Let them pass the word. Together.
Here's what we're doing.
All right. And by the way, we did have a question earlier about the days on the market, and Terry, you referenced like it feels like 3. I think that going back to that, honestly, that's something we need to get out there to our sellers and our buyers too, is like, even though the days on market says 3, or it feels like 3, it really isn't. And so people need to understand that there's homes still sitting out there. All right. It's crazy when they are. But a lot of it's just because some sellers decide that they're going to price way above what they probably should. And that's something to keep in mind too. When you list homes, you should list above market value, but don't go crazy with it. Let the offers make it crazy.
True. Do we have any other questions we need to address before we move on?
I think that's it. If you do have any additional questions, let us know. Throw them in the chat section. You can also, we'll give you our contact information at the end. You can always follow up with us there as well, but feel free to throw any more questions in and we'll answer those as we go.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about things. So now, we just have to talk a little bit about FPG, because we kind of like FPG. It's kind of cool. It's kind of, I don't think we can call it hip, because that makes me the not hip mom that says, oh yeah,
I think
cool mom.
I think hip is a very outdated hip word.
No,
yeah, I think so.
Hip is no longer hip.
Whatever. No, I just heard Jason Bateman say this on Smartless podcast the other day. He said it's on fire, or it's fire. I don't know. There's a word like that that is supposed to be hip, but then they told him it's even already months past being hip. So. And I'm still saying hip. All right, I'm going to move on now.
Don't give up.
I'm just going to move on. Okay, so just a little bit about FPG and what we offer here as a company and a brokerage. We are a hybrid brokerage. We are not completely virtual, and we are not in a brick and mortar office. We call ourselves a lifestyle brokerage. Basically, we want to be a career brokerage for an agent where you could come in as a new agent and we would scoop you up and help you and support you all the way into stardom. And then when you are that star agent that's crushing out there, you can feel free to do what you need to do, get paid at a higher commission because we cap out at 100, and get that money back in your pocket, but also have all of these next level resources, like how do you make your first hire? What does that job look like? How do you grow a team? How do you go from 3 million to 7 million in a year? You know, those kind of things that we can provide for agents and that we love and are super passionate about doing, all while balancing work and life. As you guys probably know a little bit about us. I'm sure most of you on here have seen us. We like to have a lot of fun. We think that your job should be fun. Your career should be super fulfilling, both with the relationships with the other agents and what you're doing with your clients. And we want our agents to be super informed and know what they're doing professionally, but also very innovative and on the cutting edge of the market, which is really important to us. So we do have virtual meetings, and then we also have live meetings, COVID, whatever. But usually we have both virtual and live meetings, so people get together, we brainstorm, we have recognition, we do trainings, all of the awesome stuff, but putting some money back into your pocket. So Todd, Terry, and I are the owners of the brokerage, which I think Todd mentioned earlier, but we love to do this kind of stuff with our agents. We love to communicate, we love to strategize, share ideas, and we really believe that my favorite quote, which is, there's water and some shit.
Yeah.
Rising
Well
tide, rise all ships, raise all ships. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, if we pour into each other, then we help each other instead of hiding in our cubicles and not showing the new marketing that we're doing. We just believe that there's enough out there and we can help each other. So, boom. That was a lot.
Boom.
A lot of words.
Clearly.
No, you did a great job, Megan. You nailed the quote, and that's what matters. As far as some of the things we offer, first of all, systems is huge for us. Our package of technology that we offer to our people, I think, rivals any brokerage that we know of in the area. You guys just lost your video again. I don't know if you did it on purpose, but just FYI.
My hair too.
So we have some transaction management software. We use Follow Up Boss. We provide that to all of our agents. It is by far my favorite CRM that I have ever worked with, and I've worked with just about all of them. Not really, because there's a million. There's 1,500 different, but I've worked with a lot of CRMs, and Follow Up Boss is where it's at for sure. Email, like Slack. We use Zoom. I mean, just all kinds of tech. Boomtown, which for leads, which Todd's going to talk about in a second. But it's a really, really powerful tech package. We use Loop, all that stuff, all provided for our agents that are part of Ferris Property Group. Marketing is my favorite thing about this business, and so we have what we would consider to be pretty cutting edge marketing. We provide a lot of resources for our people, including a lot of social media resources. So whereas a lot of agents sit around trying to figure out, what do I post? What do I post? We make some beautiful, timely, local pieces for you to just take and then post on your own social media. So we try to make that easy, but also guide you through that. A lot of options for virtual marketing. We adapted, in my opinion, very well to transitioning everything over to being virtual and mobile and handling things in a virtual world that we've been in for the last year. So we've got all that stuff. The marketing is baller. Our staff is baller. Who says that? I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
I like that super hip term that you should not stop.
There's no excuse for me saying that. I apologize. I thought we were still in the casual Q&A. Sorry about that. So we like to tout our staff. We have an amazing staff that is, 7 or 8 people, 9 people or so, who are just the friendliest, most wonderful, best professionals that you could ever hope to work with. They're our little family. We love them a ton, but they've done this a lot. We have a great team, and all of our departments, from admin to transaction coordination to marketing to our own internal systems and stuff. It's the best people ever.
The best.
Totally unbiased on that. And then we do a lot of coaching. So we are big time into doing things like this. Like Megan said, we have regular group coaching with one of us every single Monday. It's an hour-long group coaching session where every week you can come and bring your current business, your current issues, your struggles, and we help you work through them. So you have that accountability piece that you need. You get the coaching you want. And then we do semi-annual meetings twice a year where we talk through your business plan. We talk through what you're trying to accomplish and give you ideas and tools and strategies to take you to wherever you want to go in this business. So very hands-on in that way with our coaching as well.
Yep. In addition, I'm going to take the bottom line items. By the way, I've been looking out our window and there was a cat stalking something out there. It's kind of fun to watch for a little bit. I don't think he got it though. So in addition, we also provide leads. Now, we'll be very honest with you, like is nobody is if you've ever gotten like worked with a company that provides leads, there's a lot of really bad leads out there. So we do our best to try to filter those for you, just give you good leads. But we do think that it's important to get leads, so we do provide those leads. But the most important thing that you're going to find from us is we are sphere first, a relationship first, which means that we're going to teach you how to take those leads, turn them into relationships, but really nurture your relationships that you have right now. That's the best way to grow a business and the most enjoyable way to grow a business as well. But definitely Boomtown, Opcity, different social media sites, our own personal websites, we're going to drive leads to you.
I was gonna like you and interrupt you mid-sentence, and then I stopped.
Oh,
but I knew, because I knew you saw me like start, and then I knew that we would.
Well, you tapped me on the shoulder, so I assumed you were gonna say something.
No, I get so excited about this. I was thinking about this the other day. So we do, we pour money into getting leads for our agents, and then, having the CRM to process them and all that, and then creating the relationships so you don't have to be working cold leads to your whole business, that you can then have those referrals just calling you from your sphere, which is awesome. But I was also thinking this, one thing that I'm super excited that we do on the reg, I think that's it too, is that we also work with agents to help them get more leads on their own. Yeah. So how do you partner with a lender to get more leads from this source? Or how do you use Google Business to get more? I mean, all of these things, that's something we do all the time. That's what we're helping agents. We're giving them leads and how to work them, and then also the sphere, but then other sources. It's great to have somebody that can literally help walk you through that and show you how to do it with your business. Excited. That's all I needed to say.
There you go. We're also
Todd, I'm going to interrupt you. I'm going to interrupt you, and I want to say, I couldn't tap him, Todd. I will say too on the leads, like we always say, like the leads are not the cake, the leads are the icing on the cake, right? Like, so it's nice to have and all that, but I will say Boomtown lead came in for me this morning, set a buyer consultation for early next week. So like, it's real. You can add a few deals per year just with the leads that come through some of these sources. So icing on the cake. All right, back to you, buddy.
No, you're good. We are also incentive based. There's plenty of incentives. Now, obviously, we have a nice commission structure, which is going to be toe to toe with anybody out there. But on top of that, we have plenty of incentives as well, including an incentive trip. So, for instance, this year we're going to Miami. We just set the dates for that. Typically, we go in March, but because of COVID, we pushed that back to September. But those are all incentive-based type trips. Now, you can come along if you want. Yeah, feel free to join us if you want.
That would be so fun.
But yeah, we pay for a lot of your trip depending on how you do the year before. So it's really kind of fun. Culture, if you haven't found, like, this is probably the most imperative thing for us, is the culture. We want you to enjoy your workplace. We want you to enjoy who you work with. And we think that kind of manifests itself into making you a better person, a better agent, and therefore gets you better deals and just makes life better. And so we are big on culture. That's the biggest thing for us. You can see our tagline is real fun real estate because we practice real estate, but we try to have a lot of fun while we do it. So we definitely want to continue to grow that side of it. And then lastly is growth. We are growth minded, and we want to surround ourselves with other growth minded people. Doesn't mean necessarily that you need to say that, like, I want to light the world on fire. But we want you not to be afraid when we come to you like, here's what we want to do. These are our big picture ideas that we want to do as a company. We want you to do as an agent. It's definitely for us. It's important to make sure that not only are we enjoying the work, but that we're always thinking, like, how can we go to the next level? And so that's big for Ferris Property Group, our agents, our staff, from leadership down. So definitely all of these things are what make up Ferris Property Group. And all these things, we're not giving you the hard sale today by any means, but definitely we would love to talk to you about any of these things and the whole picture if you wanted to.
The whole picture, not just half of it.
That's right.
I don't know why I said it that way. Okay. And lastly, we do have a Join the Crew packet. It basically is all the information about Ferris Property Group. So if you just want that, I'm happy to email you that. You can reach out to us anytime, but it goes through like our commission structure, our team structures, our profit sharing that we do, and our agent referral. If you refer agents, if you grow a team, all the different ways that you can make money, the leads, and our structure, and then also more into the support and the systems and the recognition and our meetings and trainings. So all of that is in this packet, and we're happy to give you all of that fun if you are interested.
Yep. Speaking of if you are interested, feel free to contact Miss Megan right there.
Okay.
So she handles usually the people that are interested. She kind of does the that side of the HR, the recruitment side, whatever you want to call it. But you can find her. You got the phone number there. You got her email address, social media. You can find her there. But either way, I just kind of want to say it again. We love talking real estate. This is why we do it for a job. This is why we have podcasts about it. This is why we speak around the country about it. This is why we host coffee talks, is because it is fun for us. We love the job. We love the people that we work with, and we love educating and just helping other people build better brands, build better businesses, whether you're with Ferris Property Group or not. We just want to help you guys out. Now, obviously, we would love to surround ourselves with like-minded people. So if you had any interest in Ferris Property Group, wanted to talk more about it, please reach out. Hit up Megan. You can hit up Terry and I too, but Megan's much smarter than the two of us.
I'm hipper.
She's much hipper. That's what I'm hipper and smart. But so there you go. We appreciate you guys joining us today, and hopefully we'll talk to you guys very soon.
Yep.
And really appreciate it. It's Friday. We have a rule on our brokerage. It's called Half Day Friday, which, you know what? It's been a half day, so you guys can take the rest of the day off. We've given you that. So thanks,
take
guys.
Your drink, take the day off, and see you later.
And we'll talk to you guys very soon. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.